so this video is going to prove how evolution works and why some people don't understand it for what it really is. Okay, so evolution is a process that takes place, over many years. Like, we're talking millions, hundreds of thousands, just to give you a rough estimate. The longer, the better, because then you can notice change. But here's the idea. Okay, so take dinosaurs, for example. They existed on average at least 150 million years ago. Some people might say, well, okay, how is it that dinosaurs existed a long time ago, but like maybe let's say that, maybe they don't exist nowadays. But you'd actually be kind of surprised that maybe the dinosaurs went extinct, but at the same time they didn't. They're they might be our ancestors and cavemen as well included. But if you think about it though, we humans have actually evolved from like prehistoric animals that existed long ago, living in their own way in a different time period. But over time though, genetics have passed on, and obviously we have a better understanding of it now. But the reason for it is that it's like natural selection. What else is there? There's time, motivation, motion, like always moving around, and I'm trying to think of the other one. I think it still falls with natural selection, so it's not really like the best comparison, but natural selection and just the idea that in very good genetics. So in other words, if you think about it, you and I and everybody else, we're made up, the physical appearances that we have are made up of matter, materials. Everything is always evolving. What's even funny? Okay, this is going to sound weird at first, because this is where I pretty much got. I didn't really think about this until after I played it, but if anybody's played The Illusion of Gaia for the Super Nintendo, great game. If you've never played it, I'd recommend it. But the reason I bring this up is because it's a real interesting comparison. I mean, people think of evolution as in like it's just living organisms, but what we seem to forget about is that it means everything. Everything is made of energy, so energy has changed. So that means that you could say like the universe is evolving, planets are evolving, stars are evolving. It seems like it's a really good point to bring up, because it seems like every living organism, like everything's alive, like even energy cells, like for example like dark matter and dark energy. It just seems so weird to think that maybe, even if it sounds like it doesn't make sense now, maybe at one point it was a living organism, the remains of something else. You take the Earth, look at what Earth is. One day it will cease to exist, but then it will return back to its natural state, and then another planet will be born from its remains, or maybe another star will be made. It's just the evolution of it. As time goes on, it changes, because it never remains the same. To make progress is to become different. And that's exactly what evolution is. It changes. It doesn't have to just be like changing physical appearance. It could be just that process from going from point A to point B, and then just everything changes because it's adapting. It's becoming better. Every living organism has a capability of progress and change, and with that comes differentiations of just being, becoming something that's really never been. So when you think about it, evolution does in fact exist because that change. You think of it like this: if evolution wasn't true, then nothing would ever change, and we wouldn't have these infinite cycles like the universe. And if you think about it, that's the true meaning of life, or one of the core aspects of it. For it to become what it is, we have to first accept it for what it is. And life is about becoming somebody. It's not just you can do anything you want to do. Put your mind to it. And you think about, like, that's just how we got here at the same time, though. Evolution. Because the human race has adapted over the years, despite the fact people like to make jokes about how stupid we can be sometimes. But at the same time, no, we forget that we're smarter than we actually give ourselves credit for. And that should be something people should think about, because what we do affects the future, the past, and even the present. But at the same time, though, if you think about it, though, what we do makes us who we are. And it makes the future even possible, considering that it has yet to happen. But if you have motivation now, and you have all this knowledge and charisma to actually become different, you can make anything possible.